Hi Angels. This will be the chapters 24 and 25 of You Are My Heroes by Lavender Thoughts 21 on AO3. Chapter 24, Aizawa's List. This chapter is the notes Aizawa has been writing down for the next foster to better help the boys. It's in his notes app, but he plans to print it out on the last day to hand over to Tsukauchi. He is continuously updating these notes. Personal notes from former foster Shouta Aizawa. Feel free to call or text XXXXXX for questions or advice regarding the boys, or email jzawashouta@lt21mail.com. If you email, expect to have an answer by the next day, or feel free to resend that email. Izuku Midoriya, flight risk, enjoys dimmer lighting, dislikes being dirty or sticky, will walk around the perimeter of an area before playing in it. Constantly moving. Malnourished. Food must be separated, has trouble telling when he needs to go bathroom. Doesn't know his mother is deceased. It is my opinion that he be told by his new caregiver so they can help him with the grief and get better luck in being adopted. Special interest in the pro hero. All might be open to positive touch, avoids eye contact, enjoys watching Leon's Number World in the morning, and frequently counts with the show and throughout the day. I recommend taking him to a specialist to get to the bottom of his compulsive counting. Hygiene, showers, not baths, has a fear of being submerged in water for an unknown reason. I recommend exposure therapy over time, but get advice from a specialist. Pranito the loud kind of meltdown, screaming, hitting the floor, crying, etc. Katsuki Bakugo, flight risk, overly cautious and distrusting of strangers. Fear of being hit, has night terrors, hard of hearing, dislikes crunchy texture in food. Malnourished, has a problem, overeating. Gentle redirections and reminders of his next meal. Don't deny food. Hoards food, give a safe tin, don't discourage. Please research and seek specialist. Occasionally says bad words, also enjoys All Might. Needs 4 pillows and sheets of the same fabric to go to bed. He will set the layout himself since he sleeps in a certain position. Enjoys textures on his hands. Chews on his cheeks as a form of stimming. More prone to silent meltdowns where he disengages and goes nonverbal. Strong connection to animals, both. Again, they are flight risk. Keep doors locked at all times, especially at night. Discourage quiet hands. This phrase was used to repress their stims. Any sign of anger will cause immediate fear. They might be anemic. I've noticed pale gums. They have no problem with eating broccoli, so that's a good food source. Joy sleeping in the same bed. Pancake-san dinosaur oatmeal with fruits are a favorite. Breakfast, chapter 25. Midoriya and Bakugo were on the couch. Izuku drooling on Katsuki's shirt as they both decided to take a nap during the middle of the movie. It was clear they were interested, both silently watching without taking their eyes off the screen. But no matter how much they tried, they couldn't stay awake during their internal clock's nap time. Their outbursts earlier must have tired them out, because their nap lasted longer than usual today. The common hour-and-a-half nap lasted an hour more today, resulting in a total of 2 hours-and-a-half naps. Aizawa spent that time tidying up the house, sweeping and mopping the house as the boys napped. Even the dishes that were left lazily in the sink from that morning's breakfast were quickly washed and hand-dried. That way, everything would be clean and dry by the time they wake up. Aizawa thought about what to make for lunch for the boys when they woke up. They were bound to wake up hungry, since their last snack was hours ago, and they were still upset with the unfortunate events of that morning. So the man wanted a meal that would make them happy. A happy meal to cheer them up. A happy meal, a happy meal from McDonald's. Sure, it wasn't a true meal in the nutrition department, but it would be a special treat for a kid. Aizawa had never seen a kid not be happy while receiving a happy meal, plus it came with hero toys. There was a soft groan coming from the couch as Aizawa wiped the table clean a couple of yards away. The man held still, not wanting to prematurely wake up the kids if they were still tired. Slowly, Aizawa turned around to check if the boys were sleeping. He saw 2 dark green eyes peering at him. Izuku had woken up from the nap first, which was fitting, since he was the one to fall asleep first. Instead of engaging in eye contact, Midoriya rubbed his face on Bakugo's shoulder, causing the blonde to stir awake as well. Groggy crimson eyes slowly scanned the room before landing on Aizawa, to which the man gave a soft nod. It was an acknowledgement that he knew they were awake, but he didn't want to be loud since they were in a quiet state of mind. Bakugo, still feeling groggy, decided to turn the tables on Midoriya and lean on the freckled boy for a change. Izuku was surprised when Katsuki let himself fall on the boy's lap, but quickly accepted it. Still a bit muzzy himself, Midoriya relaxed back on the couch, softly petting Bakugo's hair on his lap, as the blonde closed his eyes for a while more. Aizawa did his best to adhere to their quiet time. He could tell Bakugo wasn't asleep by his breathing patterns. Izuku was mindlessly staring at the black screen of the TV in his mind as well. However, Aizawa made the mistake of adjusting a chair to be neatly tucked under the table. The loud squeak of wood against wood made Bakugu's eyes open and gaze towards the man. Sorry, Bakugu, sleep more if you want. Aizawa apologized and decided to stop cleaning for now. However, it was too late. Bakugu rolled over face up on Izuku's lap and stretched out his arms and legs as far as they could go. This was a telltale sign that Bakugu was done with his idle quiet time. Hungry? Aizawa questioned instead, and Bakugu sat up and nodded. Midoriya, are you hungry too? Aizawa asked the green-haired boy who copied Bakugu's stretches. The green-haired boy just nodded, agreeing with the sentiment of his hunger. Have you guys ever heard of McDonald's? Aizawa decided to question them, not knowing if they were neglected to the point of not knowing a popular kid's food. I knows, it's the Baba house. Izuku sang out the jingle perfectly, his eyes lighting up as he got up from his spot on the couch. Yes, Bakugu, do you know? Aizawa asked, but Bakugu looked up at the man with sad eyes as he shook his head softly from side to side. It's okay, it just means yummy food. Aizawa watched as Katsuki's eyes lit at the mention of food. We get to have yummy food? Izuku asked as he jumped down to the floor, rocking on his tiptoes as he held his fist up excitedly. Yeah, let's go get it. Aizawa grabbed the keys from the wall next to the entrance and made his way to the side door to the garage. Get? Izuku's excited voice was gone. The man turned around to find Izuku sitting on the floor, his once bright eyes dark and staring intensely at the floor. Car? Bakugu questioned Aizawa. You don't like the car? Aizawa asked, and he thought back to the first official day of their care. Tsukauchi mentioned Midoriya being in a car accident, the result being his deceased mother. It's scary when it's loud, and what if we fly again? Midoriya was still looking down, a bad memory replacing his vision. I promise to keep you safe. We don't have to go in the car if you are scared. I can have someone go get the food for us, Aizawa told the boy, crouching down to Midoriya's level. But, Izuku paused, tears threatening to fall from his eyes. But the slide place is the bestest, and the big window on top. It's okay another day, when you feel better. Aizawa reasoned with the boy, not thinking he was quite brave enough to face the car. No, Izuku grabbed his curls, his free hand rising to his chest in a fist. I can go. Kacha never goes. We can go now. Izuku's heart was racing in his chest, and to expel that bad energy he let go of his hair to use both his hands to flap them in the air. Even his breathing started to become rapid, as he thought about the possibility of not going to McDonald's. Izuku, darling, can you breathe slow for me? Everything is okay. Aizawa demonstrated a big breath, and Izuku copied it, without much thought. Again, breathe. We will do what we can. One step at a time, okay? Aizawa reassured the boy softly, and Midoriya kept copying the big slow breaths. I'm being bad again, right? Izuku tried to keep up the calm breathing, but couldn't help but whine. Again? No, Midoriya. You have been very good. But I scared Kaken this morning. I cried because the movie and woke you up. Then I made Kaken cry, and you got mad because I said bad stuff. Kaken called me bad because I was mean. Now no McDonald's for Kaken because I'm being bad because the car is scary. Izuku started to cry, feeling overwhelmed by the emotions hanging over him the whole day. In part, Aizawa felt responsible. Aizawa was the one who gave them a rough start in the morning, causing Izuku to fall on Katsuki by startling him, putting on a sad movie that made the boys miss their parents, which in turn made Izuku accidentally say something mean to Bakugu. It was a small fight, but it still soured their day. And then the cherry on top, he forgot his mom died in a car accident, so he should have anticipated some anxiety for the car. No, you've been very good. It was not your fault. Bakugu is still here. He forgave you. Right, Katsuki? Aizawa asked, and Midoriya looked over at Bakugu for confirmation. Not bad. Bakugu comforted Izuku in those few words, reaching out his hand for Midoriya to grab. The instant it was offered, Izuku wasted no time grabbing a hold of it. The way Midoriya held on tight concerned Aizawa, thinking that maybe he would hold on too tightly and leave marks on Bakugu's palm again. See, you're not being bad. You're a very good boy. Just calm down for me, okay? Aizawa told him, and Midoriya nodded, squeezing his eyes shut as he rocked on his tippy toes, trying to calm himself down. Thinking of a way to help Midoriya, Aizawa remembered the few tools he had for this scenario. Leaving the boys for just a moment, Aizawa went to their room to retrieve a couple of items before returning. Here, Midoriya, try this. Aizawa handed the green-haired boy a squeeze ball, the one in yellow and red colors. Midoriya wiped his tears before letting go of Katsuki's hand and grabbing the ball from Aizawa. The boy gave it a couple of hard squeezes, then switched a rapid pace as he watched the yellow and red goo mix and separate inside. All Might is here too. You want to hold him? Aizawa held the plush in front of Midoriya, who slowly grabbed the plush to put under his arm. Everyone mad at me? Izuku questioned, his eyes still looking down at the floor. No one's mad, Aizawa reassured. Not mad. Bakugo saw the man comfort Izuku and said the same thing in the same tone, copying good behavior. Still, he kept his distance. Bakugo offered his hand earlier, but for the most part, he didn't like to cling. Izuku, darling, do you want to talk about what happened? About why you were scared? Aizawa saw that Midoriya hadn't coped with his trauma and decided to open the conversation in case the boy decided to share. No, please. Izuku whined, not wanting to speak of it. Okay, you don't have to. Izuku, just remember that happened a long time ago. You are safe now, no more danger. No more danger? Izuku asked. No more danger. Aizawa repeated his last statement. No danger, Bakugo also reassured Midoriya. Can we go? Izuku asked, looking up at Aizawa, but darting his eyes away when the man looked back at him confused. You still want to go? The man asked, and Midoriya nodded. Aizawa was unsure of the situation. On one hand, Midoriya will be facing his fear by going on the drive, but on the other hand, he might become overwhelmed in the car. Despite all that, facing his fear on his terms will be a huge accomplishment if he can get through it. Okay, let's go. It took a while for Aizawa to put 2 kids' seats in the car. The man had a small collection from the former years of fostering. Some seats for older kids, and some for those who weighed in the lesser category like them. Unfortunately, this resulted in Izuku getting even more anxious before the ride, seeing the car in the garage that to him seemed monstrous in size. All right, Midoriya first. Aizawa waved the green-haired boy over, and the boy slowly inched his way forward. Accepting the help, Aizawa sat him down in his seat. Look, I'm putting in the metal thing. It's going to click, and that means you are going to stay safe in your seat. Aizawa buckled in Midoriya's seatbelt and smiled as the belt made a satisfying click. The man correctly tightened the belt to the appropriate amount and raised the chest piece where it should be. You okay? We can go back inside whenever you want. Aizawa the boy and out, not wanting him to become overwhelmed by not having a choice anymore. I'm okay, Izuku squeaked, his squeeze ball making rapid sounds as he pressed on it. Look, All Might is here. Aizawa raised the plush from the boy's side and placed it in the pocket of the back of the driver's seat, so the boy could have a pinpoint in which to stare. Midoriya let out a whine as Aizawa got out of the car to get Bakugo. The blonde didn't accept Aizawa's help to get into his seat, taking his time to climb into the car and sit himself down. However, Aizawa buckled him correctly, despite the blonde's angry huffs. I'm making sure you're safe too, Aizawa told Bakugo, who clicked his tongue and relaxed back into his seat. Kachan, Izuku whined again. This time the tears threatening to escape fell down his face in streaks. Midoriya moved his squeeze ball from his right hand to his left and reached out his right hand for Bakugo. The blonde accepted it. You still want to go? Aizawa asked the kid again, and Midoriya nodded, sniffing. With that, Aizawa went to the front of the car and took a deep breath before he started the car. The engine didn't exactly roar to life, but it did make some noise while turning on. Even so, Aizawa heard a squeak come from Izuku. The man corrected his rear-view mirror to watch the boys carefully. Bakugo glared as soon as he realized he was being watched, but Midoriya had his eyes shut tight. The whine turned into whimpers as Aizawa started to drive the car out of the garage. Midoriya, do you still want to go? Aizawa asked one final time before he went on the road. Yes, Midoriya choked out the word as he held tighter to the ball and Katsuki's hand. Aizawa, taking a leap of faith, continued his way out of the driveway, the bump on the way out causing everything to jump up slightly. This small action changed something in Izuku. The sensation of going up and losing gravity for a millisecond made him snap. Wait, Midoriya yelled out, and suddenly the hand holding the ball let go and instead turned into a fist in which he hit the side of the car harshly. Okay, I stopped. We don't have... Let me out, please. Please, I'll be good. Let me out, Master Aizawa. Izuku's breathing hitched as he tried to pull himself out of the seat, the seat belt restraining him and pushing him back. When that didn't work, he let go of Bakugo's hand, pulling on the seatbelt straps on his chest and trying to push himself through them. Realizing he was trapped, Izuku yelled out some incoherent words of distress. Aizawa put the car in a park, which resulted in the car going forward for just a second. To this, Midoriya let out a distressed squeal. His hyperventilating breathing got worse as Aizawa made his way out of the driver's seat and to his side. Izuku started to bang his head back on the seat and thrust himself forward in an attempt to get out of his seat. Izuku, you're okay, baby, I'm here. Aizawa tried to unbuckle Izuku as fast as he could, finding it difficult as the boy violently tried to tear himself away from the seat. Midoriya started to scream through his tears as he frantically pushed and shoved Aizawa away, making the process even harder. Finally, Aizawa heard the clicks of the belt unbuckling. With a swift pull, Aizawa grabbed Izuku out of the seat and into his arms. The boy grasped onto Aizawa, his nails digging into the man's sides, and pressed his whole being into him. It's okay, you are out. You are safe. Aizawa rubbed Midoriya's back as the boy trembled and screamed out in fear into his chest. Those screams reminded Aizawa of Bakugu's night terror, the loud yells not being held back with any sense. It was the sound of not being safe and being in harm's way. The boy holding on to him was scared beyond what any child should ever feel. Aizawa held onto Izuku tighter and whispered sweet words into the boy's ears, reassuring Izuku that he was a good boy who was safe. Midoriya's screams turned into whimpers, with an occasional whine. Meanwhile, Bakugu stayed still in his seat, wide-eyed at Midoriya's reaction in the car. It was clear the blonde was worried for his friend by the way he held onto the car seat tightly and kept his eyes on him. Midoriya's okay, he just got a little scared, Aizawa explained to Katsuki so the boy wouldn't get scared too. Midoriya whimpered as Aizawa tried to free one of his hands to get Bakugu from his seat. Taking the risk, Aizawa removed one of his hands, causing Midoriya to cry again. Quickly, he pressed the red button and the one on Katsuki's chest so he could get out. Just as fast, Aizawa returned his hand to wrap around Midoriya, but the boy shifted up. No longer clinging onto the man's chest, the boy instead sat in the man's arm and rested his head on the man's shoulder, allowing for a tighter hug that put pressure on his chest and back. Bakugu, sweetheart, can you get the ball and All Might? We are going back inside. Aizawa asked for help from the blonde, who was staring up at him with shaky hands. Bakugu was nervous for Midoriya, not only from the panic of the moment, but also from receiving comfort from the man. Nevertheless, Bakugu was good and helped out, getting Midoriya's stuff and following behind Aizawa. The man waited till they were back inside to close the garage and lock the car, both with buttons, but even with the wall to divide them, the noise still made Midoriya whimper. You are safe, Aizawa repeated in the boy's ear. Then he looked down at Bakugu, who was tapping his foot anxiously. Izuku is safe. Safe, Bakugu said the word out loud, hoping to reach Midoriya's ears far above him. The green-haired boy nodded, but still cried into Aizawa's shoulder with whines. The boy's cries were quieter as he calmed down, but the uneasiness remained. Aizawa stood there at the entrance of the house for a long while. Swaying back and forth, he applied pressure to Midoriya in a deep hug. There, with the small child seeking comfort in his arms, Aizawa wished with that connection he could steal Midoriya's fear and place it into his own body. Midoriya held strong onto Aizawa, not slipping an inch since he clung to the man. Bakugu was sitting behind Aizawa, just a few feet away just so he could be close to Izuku, and within the boy's eyesight. Aizawa was turned away, but could still keep an eye on the blonde from a mirror at the side of the entrance. Seeing All Might in Bakugu's arms, Aizawa got an idea. Oh, what was that? All Might, the #1 hero, did you say something? Aizawa turned around and talked to the All Might plush on Bakugu's arms, the blonde giving a confused head tilt. Oh, Izuku! Izuku Midoriya, the handsome boy in my arms. Yeah, he's such a brave boy. Aizawa continued to talk to the plush, Midoriya turning in his arms to see what the man was talking about. Did you hear about what just happened? Let me tell you, All Might, Izuku was so brave. This boy is scared of the car, but he did his best and got in one. Also, he can make Katsuki happy, isn't he a good boy? But I got scared and didn't go. I'm not brave. Izuku started to cry again. Did you try to go even though you were scared? Aizawa asked Midoriya, and the boy nodded. Tell All Might, don't nod. Aizawa urged Midoriya onto his fake conversation. I tried to go in the car, but scared. Midoriya yelled out, and Bakugu held up the plush in the air so they could see it better. Wow, see! I told you he was brave. He went inside the car. Cars are scary for Izuku, but he went in one. Isn't that cool? You'll keep trying, right, Izuku? Maybe not today, but some other day. Izuku whined but nodded. Aizawa knelt so they could be closer to the plush. If Izuku keeps being brave and trying, one day he won't be scared anymore. He won't be scared of anything, just like you. All Might. Just like a pro hero. Aizawa kept exaggerating his voice, sounding more and more excited as the conversation went on. All Might said that being brave means you keep trying. Even if you are scared, then one day you won't be scared anymore, right, All Might? Aizawa questioned, and Bakugu made the plush nod in his hands. You'll keep trying, right, Izuku? You'll be brave? Aizawa asked, and Midoriya wiped his tears away with his small fist. I'll be brave, Izuku said out loud, raising his chin and putting on his best All Might smile, which was shaky. See, All Might, I told you he was brave. He's one of the bravest boys in the whole world, Aizawa said, and Midoriya smiled at the zealous compliment. All Might is so proud of you for trying today. Aizawa smiled at Midoriya and ruffled his green curls around playfully. At this, the boy let out a small giggle and pushed the man's hand away. I'm proud of you, too. It makes me happy I have such good boys in my house, Aizawa told Midoriya, catching Bakugu's eye at his last sentence. The man wasn't expecting the blonde to play along with the fake nodding. Midoriya, now near ground level, slid out of Aizawa's arms and walked up to Katsuki. The blonde gave the green-haired boy the All Might plush, and Midoriya squeezed it in a hug as a thank you for its encouragement. Aizawa was sure Izuku didn't mean to hold on to him for comfort when he got out of the car. But the way the boy didn't let go even after calming down made him happy that he did provide some comfort, even if it was just a one-time thing. This is the end of chapters 24 and 25. I'll see you in chapter 26. If you have suggestions, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to know when the next one is out. Have a good day, angels.